Welcome to the NACA American Dream Program. Each week, we'll talk about how NACA is revolutionizing mortgage lending with the best mortgage in America. It's no down payment, no closing cost or fees, no PMI, no consideration of your credit score. And guess what? It's at a below market fixed rate. NACA's just relentless. This is the NACA way.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back for another episode of America's Net. Oh my gosh, I can't even get it out. I'm so excited. But welcome back to NACA's Home Dream Program. We are just so excited. I can't even get it out. All the things that we got going on that we're trying to share, and it's on the tip of my tongue, the everywhere, all over me. It's just exhausting that we got all these things that we're about to do with NACA in the next coming weeks. And Jeanette, how you doing out there? What's going on over there in Texas? I just can't get over. I'm just excited.
I see. And all the excitement is trickling over here, clean across I-20, Damien. So we feel the excitement from Texas to LA, all the way up 35 in Minnesota, Chicago, you name it. We feel it. We feel the excitement. We feel the energy. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood and a beautiful day to be out looking for that dream home that so many of you are accessing. America's best mortgage that is powered and through NACA. So we love being out today looking for that beautiful home. But now we got the right people coming to the forefront, Damien. But before we get started, because we got the right people coming to the forefront to talk about how, where, and when the perfect time to buy, how to look for that beautiful home, and where are the homes? Where are they? Where are they located? Where are the best spots and things like that? So we got our subject matter experts that are out there hitting the pavement every day doing what they do. Our real estate agents coming soon. But before we do, this is the American Dream Program, where only you can access America's best mortgage with a 30-year fixed rate of 6.125, a 20-year fixed rate of 5.625, and a 15 at a 5.5. And guess what? With everything inflating across the country, you still are capping in at the best rate in America and the lowest rate, because only here at NACA you can buy down your interest rate to virtually 0%. Literally, you can buy down your interest rate here using America's Best in America Mortgage. Our program, as always, I want you to tune into everything we're doing. We got some big events coming soon. We got Conyers, Georgia coming up. And to find out more information, keep it locked and loaded at our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram pages. But www.naca.com is going to always be the source that you can use for the news that you need, right? Coming at you. You can keep our questions coming at 425. You can keep questions coming to our member services and to get into contact with anyone at NACA at 425-602-6222. But as always, for the radio program, you can keep your questions coming live and in full effect at 833-771-0500. That's 833-771-0500. Damien, you have worked it out where you got some masterminds, some geniuses, some real estate gurus coming to the stage today.
Yes. As always, they haven't been in here for a minute because they've been busy out on the pavement helping achieve that American dream of home ownership, but they're back. We have the brokers here today, and we want to welcome them. They're from all over. They're from Texas. They're from Georgia, from Newark, from New Jersey, and they cover different areas. So, and wait a minute, let me see. Yep, that's everybody. So we have our brokers here that's going to tell you the things that you need to know, how you need to save, how you need to get your mind right, how you need to be okay with what you afforded to now get that home. And that's the goal. And they train their team to be able to do it. Not only do they do it, but they make sure that the people that work under them, their licensees, are able to get you that home and understand the NACA process. Not only do they understand the NACA process, they understand the mortgage side, because many times you can't get to your mortgage counselor. So our brokers make sure you understand both sides so you can explain it to our members when they cannot reach their mortgage counselor.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's always a pleasure to have Kenneth Clark, who is coming to us today. And Kenneth Clark is representing Georgia. He is
Woo!
our broker in Georgia. We also have Moses Harry that's coming today, representing the great state of Texas. Give it up for those Longhorns over there. And then we also, I got to always represent the Longhorns. And then we also have Jerome, who says you can own your home with Jerome, who's representing, I think Jerome is representing a couple of states, but I know Philly is in the house when Jerome is in the house. So welcome, welcome, welcome to all of you. And I'm just gonna, Damien, I'm just gonna hit the ground running with what everybody is wanting to know.
Well, now
Inventory.
one thing I do
Oh,
want
go
to
ahead.
clarify. One
Mhm.
thing I do want to clarify, because Jerome does have multiple states, to go ahead and let him tell the multiple states that he's over, so people will know that they have options if they're
Good
moving to the
idea.
states.
Thanks. Keep me honest, Damien. That's what look, that's my co-anchor. We got to keep each other honest, tried and true. I love it. I love it. I love it. Jerome, talk about what areas are you representing?
You're
You are
muted.
muted.
There we go. Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Now I'm unmuted. So if you want to work with Jerome to own a home, you can do that in Delaware right now. You can do that in New Jersey, and you can do it in Pennsylvania. So, we cover these regions, myself and my team. And if we don't cover a particular part of the state, then we are working to expand our referral agent network. So this way you always have someone. So I'm always interested. People tell me where you're trying to buy, so I can try and work on making sure that we have the coverage in that area.
Awesome. Now, I do have one quick question that I know a client just asked me, and I just want to make sure that everybody understands. How far is it that they will let you commute for a house? Is there a certain length? Is there a certain mileage? Is there a certain, hour, 2 hours away? Can anyone answer that question?
Well, I think they want it to be reasonable,
Okay.
as long as it makes sense. At the end of the day, you don't want to drive, 3 hours to one way to work, and then
Right.
drive 3 hours back home after you worked all day. So the reality is, it's just got to make sense. I don't know that they've drawn a line in the sand,
Okay.
but get with your mortgage counselor. They can run it up the flagpole and see if it makes sense.
Okay. Thank you.
And Damien, isn't that one of the things you really got to do when you're searching for your home and looking for that dream home? You want to make sure it's within reason, that you're not just stretching yourself to something that you're going to just dread and regret moving into. One of the things I would definitely not want to do is get myself into a home that now I'm 3 hours or 4 hours or 2 hours even away from work, and then that's one way, so you're spending 4 hours of the day just dealing with commute. So by the time you get home, you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you don't even have time to even enjoy your home. Or what happens when the kids go to school in the area and there's an emergency that may arise? You can't quickly get to that school. Speaking from a mom who knows, having that quick access to your family members that need you most is really, really key. So that's all part of in the thought process of trying to find that home. Location is what they always tell me.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Right?
That's true. That's
Yeah.
and the thing is, it's so weird. Like, I live in Atlanta, but sometimes to get to the north side, depending on traffic, it could take an hour, 15 minutes, hour and a half. So, but then on normal days or at night, it might take you 30 minutes to get where it normally takes you, during the day, an hour and a half. So I was just curious about that, because a lot of people are having to move further out to get that affordability, but they still have to come in for their job. They're not able to work from home completely. And that was why I was asking that question.
And real talk, I actually had someone who told me once they found their home, the one thing that they didn't count on, but they were glad it was a feature. They lived close in walking proximity to where they could get to the train, because when they moved into their home, things happen, life happens, and a year later, their car broke down, and it took them a while to get a new car. The car was beyond repair, so they had to make a life decision on getting a new car, which sometimes require down payment, and you need to save and have all of these things in mind and get that new car payment. So in the meantime, through that transition, they were able to catch the train, and they never knew that they lived that close to the train. And guess what? Because it saved them so much money, it became a way of life for them. They utilized the train even after they got their new car. But that wasn't one of the decision makers in getting a home, but that was a feature that they were glad they lived near a train station. And who thinks like that? It's something to consider.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah. So Kenneth, you're representing the great state of Georgia.
I am. And how may I help you today?
And how is the market in Georgia? What's happening in Georgia?
Man, I can tell you right now that I'm really excited about the Atlanta market. We're doing big things here in the Atlanta area. I will say that the home prices are creeping up a little bit, but they're stabilizing. And that's due to interest rates going up and eliminating some of the people from the market. Okay, so it's reducing competition to buy homes. We're still fighting a limited inventory environment, right? We always get the question about foreclosures and that sort of thing. You know, foreclosures you win when there's an oversupply of homes on the market. That's when you can truly negotiate. But from an overall health of our industry, from a real estate perspective here in Atlanta, I mean, people are still buying and my agents are still selling. So we're getting it done. And there's some areas in the city that I can share with everyone if you're interested. And if your income's not quite there or your qualification's not there, my team would be happy to share with some of those areas that can help you get into a home.
I love it. I love it. And I think we had Moses, who's representing that great state of Texas. And I don't know if Moses is having technical difficulties, but when he comes back, I definitely want to hear what's happening in Texas, because they always call Texas, Georgia, all that I-20 corridor, they call that the builder's paradise, because they have 7, 8, 9 months of good building weather. But what are you building? Are you building affordable houses that we are getting qualified for? That's the question right there. So that is a perfect segue, Damien, because Gail Crump is asking. She say, my affordability is trash. I don't think I'm going to find a home in Charlotte for the low amount that I'm qualified for. So congratulations, Gail. You got qualified. The program works for you. Let's accentuate the positive. You got qualified. So homeownership is obtainable, but and I think can Jerome, should we have the conversation, Damien, about finding a home that's affordable? Are we talking about inventory or desired inventory? Because here in Texas, I see inventory all over the place, but I don't see desired inventory. I don't see a lot of desired inventory. So, one person's trash is another person's treasure. Can we talk about that before we, dig into Gail's question about her affordability is trash? She got qualified, and maybe she's saying it herself. I don't think I'm going to find a home. We don't know.
Not yet.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it depends on how realistic, that number is to the market sometimes, what you got qualified for. Because, one thing I looked at before our podcast today was, what are some of the busier markets? Charlotte's the 5th busiest market I have here right now, it says. So that's a market that's thriving with inventory and all, but possibly where she's at her number, and like you said, desire too. So you would have to look at that, definitely, I would say. But for the most part, do everything possible. We should be doing everything possible to get in that position to research where you need to be at in these markets, in our individual markets. Like Kenneth was saying, he knows where you can direct some people, especially some of the more affordable areas. For instance, in my region, if you're purchasing in New Jersey, the further south you go, the more affordable it is. In the state of New Jersey, the less taxes you have, which helps your affordability. Also, the state of Delaware, which has super low taxes, the further south you go in Delaware, more affordability. So that's how it is for us right now. There's plenty of inventory in the Philadelphia market. Question is it desirable at different price points? So that's the biggest thing I notice in my Philadelphia, Pennsylvania market is how desirable is the inventory. And then also when you look at those other markets, well, where can I afford? So everybody, depending on the market, is in a different position, especially in my region in 3 states. It's 3 different situations. So the best thing you can do is just kind of look at everything to make sure you're checking all the boxes, because I kind of have like an outline of, are we doing this to get to what hopefully is some inventory for you to choose so we can be out shopping.
And let's not underestimate, and you're spot on, Jerome. Let's not underestimate the skill set of your realtor, right? They can help you identify those areas, those pockets, right? They can also help you understand what's the rehab project process like, right? The house doesn't always have to be ready. Okay, we can make the house ready. Okay, one of the things I like to share with our clients here in Atlanta is that you can't always change the neighborhood, but we can change the inside of a house to make it like you need it to be. And as time flies by, the neighborhood tends to improve, and you're always generally getting an appreciation, and you always have to have shelter. So it's a win-win, right? I think it makes sense.
Exactly. I love that analogy. And how many times have we seen a house and we don't see and we can't see yet the beauty and the splendor and all that home has to offer. But then we get with a contractor or someone else and they can bring beautiful things to life. Give it just rehabilitate it and blow some good breath into it. And now we got a showpiece that we never thought would happen. So, Gail, I want you to be encouraged. We do have agents all across the country. We also have referral agents, and all across the country as well. The best thing to do is reach out to our real estate department. You can do that at NACA Red, it stands for NACA Real Estate Department at NACA.com. So you can always reach out to us at NACARed.com. But you can also, let me just clear this up, to talk to a live person, you can continue to reach out to us at 425-602-6222. That's 425-602-6222. And definitely let them know that you want to get in contact with the real estate department. The real estate department is there ready to assist you. And Kenneth, did I call out the real estate's email address correctly? I don't think I did, but services@NACA.com is going to be another avenue that you can go down to get the information you need, get your referral agent, get your in-house agent. Most of our states have in-house agents, but if not, we definitely have referral agents to direct you.
All the IHAs do have a NACA Red domain name, okay, exchange handle. So you should be good there. It'll be their first name dot last name or first name last name at NACARed.com.
Right. I definitely want Gail to get the help that she's looking for. Someone was asking about, do we have agents across the country? So I wanted to make sure I have that question answered. And someone is asking about the Virgin Islands. Do we have agents in the Virgin Islands? And the answer is going to be not quite yet. We're not there yet, but you know what? Don't underestimate us, because just when you think we can't, we can. So we're not quite there yet, Tazea, but we're close. We're close to being everywhere in the world, I'm sure.
And
we
also,
never stop trying.
To think about things down the line of future, you may be up for a promotion, you may be up for a raise. Consider talking to your mortgage counselor as to how that will play on increasing your affordability. I can't guarantee you that, because that was going to be your mortgage counselor, but definitely looking at, if you got a promotion, if you have one that's presented to you, if you have a raise coming up, looking at different grants. But if you see a grant, you reach out to either your real estate agent or your mortgage counselor so we can see if NACA works with that grant. And also looking a little bit further out, but that's based on what your job will allow and what you're, okay with doing. But some people can move out because they're on, Social Security, disability, all of those things. So it doesn't really matter where they move. So just taking all those things into consideration, and, let's work together with your real estate agent to let them know what's going on. And the more they know, the better they're able to assist you with what you're trying to achieve.
Absolutely. Perfect advice. Perfect advice. And I cannot express or even stress enough that we should be taking advantage of all the grants, the city grants, the county grants, any grants that have to do with housing. If you don't rule yourself out, if you think that it is a good grant or it sounds good, reach out to us, let us know, hit us up at services@naca.com or contact our phone number and say, hey, does NACA work with this grant? It very well could be a grant that we haven't heard about, but guess what? Because you're bringing it to us, we will conduct our due diligence and look into it, see what the requirements are, and get on board to get that grant to you. That is free money, ladies and gentlemen. Let me translate that again. Free money. And I haven't heard free money since ever. So then you don't get free money. So this is an opportunity to use the resources that are available to you. But Damien, I got something I need you to hear.
Right.
This is coming from Love Is. Love Is, she's saying, have any of you heard of the market, of whether the market will come down? I've been qualified, and even on the outskirts of Atlanta, cannot find anything for my qualification amount. So disheartening is what she's saying. So Love Is, don't be disheartened. I know it's easier said than done, but be encouraged because you have done the impossible. You've already crossed the hurdle of getting qualified. Georgia, what can she do on the outskirts of Atlanta? We don't know what her price point is. Love Is, if you can share that, that would be good. If you can't, I totally understand. But let's talk about some workarounds and some things that she can do.
Well, I can share with you this. Jerome mentioned it earlier. Everybody's situation is different, right? And affordability runs rampant in terms of who's applying. So with that being said, we could talk about properties in Clayton County. We could talk about properties in Douglas County. And some DeKalb County. The reality is we've got a grant also in the city of Atlanta where you can get up to $25,000 to help you buy your rate down to be able to buy a home. So it really just comes into, what you're willing to do to step outside your comfort zone. Your question was, do I see the market changing? Well, the market's always changing, to be quite honest. We know the federal government raised interest rates to curb inflation. With higher interest rates, your affordability goes down, but you can buy more at the grocery store, right? So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we see interest rates going back to the twos? That's hard to say. It took us this long to get from the twos. It took us a year and change to get from twos to the 6 1/4, 6 1/8 we're at, right?
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends. And we really need to engage your mortgage counselor too, because they can tell you the things you need to do to get to a higher qualification amount. So there's a number of things that needs to be done. I just think you really need to sit down and have a conversation with the right real estate agent that can, direct you in the right area you need to look at. So,
because there's a lot of moving pieces in there. There's
right.
a lot. Grants, more income, changing where you want to look. What outskirts are you looking? Are you looking completely at the outskirts of the whole circle of Atlanta, or just one side or one corner? Because the corner you may be looking at may not be where the more affordable homes are. So being open to looking at other parts, of places to live, instead of one small particular place. I only want to live right next to this cool school zone might not be the place where the houses are more affordable for you.
You'll never get equity if you don't get in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she did say one thing that's interesting, and I don't know how this weighs into the scenario. She said, I'm looking in Covington, Conyers, Jonesboro. I see things built in the 1970s, but not decent. So see, now we're back to that desired inventory versus inventory. So there is inventory, it's
Mhm.
just not desired.
And there's a renovation component that can be added. So,
Mhm.
and most I would say 90% of the real estate agents out here have never really done a renovation transaction. So again, working with the right agent can direct you and helping you turn that home that's undesirable into something you can cherish.
Yeah, that definitely, because I had one client that found a house that would fall into that category of not necessarily being desirable, but the house was 175,000, but they were able to roll in 55,000 in repairs, but that was in their affordability. So now the house didn't look quite like they wanted, but we're rolling in 55,000 in repairs. As Ken said, they have a repair component. You are now able to make that house where you wanted to live where and look the way you wanted to live where it was at.
Right.
Hey,
Right.
I got one more thing on that, because what I would advise people out there to do is, too many times we're doing it trying to find one different thing each time. Like, you got to look at everything as a whole, all your options, because if you actually have a good consultation with an agent, but before you speak to your agent, make sure you know from your counselor what your monthly affordability target is, not what number they give you, like find a house under a certain number, because that could change from county to county. Just give me your raw monthly affordability number, so then that way I can work with you and let you see what, home price to target. And then the way I work it with a lot of people, to get to a certain point where they're comfortable knowing they exhausted all options. That's the whole goal, is to know that you've exhausted all options, not come to me every week with it for a different option. So what I like to make sure is, one thing I never have suggested since we've been talking about this was co-buyers. Like, I found myself now trying to get people to even get co-buyer, because
Need
like
that income.
before I
Need that
wasn't,
income. Yeah.
but now, because we've exhausted all options. We are going to lower tax areas. You're trying to compromise from no air condition to no air condition, something like that, or whatever it is in the house with the pricing. But I have the checklist, and when we get down to it, now I even started adding co-buyer. So, like, just work with someone and have that information before you get to an agent, that monthly number. And if you want to be proactive, if you're working with a counselor now and not qualified, then now's the time, so you're not surprised when you get qualified what number, because you kind of set yourself up. You want to know as you're getting to that point, because you're all excited, you got your qualification, and then now you can't find anything. It's better to start preparing now, get with an agent. This way you can get on an auto search, do your community shopping, and understand it better. Don't set yourself up for failure. Prepare. And then now you can be working on grants, saving money, because this market is about $500 a month different than it was a year ago in March. So you got to figure out how to make up $500. How do you do that? Well, max a couple hundred interest rate buy down is going to help you. That's just the real about it, max. But if you add to that a grant, then maybe you can do another couple hundred. Co-buyer, increase your affordability, savings, whatever, principal reduction. But the biggest key is the more money to help offset that makes it easier. So that's what I would advise people on, is too many people are jumping on now, having trouble once they're shopping. Everybody out there, there's more people out there getting prepared than shopping right now. So hopefully this message gets to them so they can get ready.
Now, two, I'll add one more thing that I didn't even hit me, but I did it myself. I took $8,000 from my 401k, and everybody kept saying, you don't need to do that. That's for later. And I'm like, yeah, but I need to live now. Can I get to later? And so for me, the $8,000 was worth it, because I was able to buy my interest rate down to 2.23. My house was 133,000. I would have paid, if I hadn't bought my interest rate down, 185,000 in interest. Almost buy one house, give the bank one. But when I bought it down to 2.23, it said you're going to pay 133 for the house, 45,000 in interest. So I saved more than that $8,000. So look at your 401k as another alternative. Yeah, you're going to be living to be able to work and get that back, but you're trying to get a house now and escape, the issues of rental going up. I have one client that's paying $1,600, and when I placed it to her, like, okay, $1,600 in 1 year is $20,000. You stay there for 5 years, that's $100,000, and it ain't even yours. You're giving it to somebody else. So when you start putting those numbers down, you, as Ken say, you need to get in the game.
So let me ask this question. Talk to me about co-buyer. I hear the terminology co-buyer. For those that are out there listening, talk to me about your definition of a co-buyer. Because when my cousin hear co-buyer, my cousin gonna go and find a co-buyer just to be on the loan. Talk to me about co-buyer and why is that so important? What do I need the co-buyer to do? And what's the responsibility and expectations of the co-buyer?
Well, I feel like a lot of people that are in areas where they need more affordability, they need that extra income to help those ratios so you can buy more house, especially multifamily buyers. A lot of people I've been getting, they're qualified for a certain amount in our region, but they want maybe only a 2-unit, but a 2-unit won't pay for itself when you factor in the 75% of the rent. So then they got to go up. This is one of the compromises. Then you got to go up and make sure you have the reserves to be able to get a 3-unit with NACA. And if you can get a 3-unit, you know, a lot of times when you get that co-buyer that brings that extra money, you know, it comes with higher taxes. The bigger the building, more taxes, just whatever you need that co-buyer to do. Some people, I even have some people right now as a co-buyer try and get 1 unit and another person gets the other unit in the building, you know? So like somebody else that wants to be a landlord, generational wealth, well, team up with them and try and get something. So because you each will have your own unit, you know, so just trying to think out the box and whatever it can just to get some more help. So that co-buyer has to be somebody who's going to live there. So you got to make sure, you know, you're pulling in somebody. And some people, I know for different reasons, they leave a spouse, you know, like not on the loan for, you know, where it be whatever may be holding them back. Because sometimes I've seen couples where they're non-priority and we can take them one off and they can still get a house and it works. So that's going backwards, losing a co-buyer. Sometimes that even has helped people, believe it or not. But I just say, I don't know what you think, Ken and Moses, about the co-buyers, but that's where it helps me, especially for multifamilies, more a co-buyer, because it allows you more creativity.
Well, I can tell you right out of the gate, you were spot on. What you really need to realize is that the co-buyer has got to meet the same requirements as the buyer. So that means you got to live in the property. You can't own other real estate, you know, that type of thing, right? And you need to be responsible about how you pay your debt, and you need to have consistent source of income, right? So those are things that matter, and sometimes that can be a challenge. Because, you know, you got a co-buyer, but they don't want to live with you. Okay, those kinds of things, right? So just be careful and talk with your mortgage counselor. And, you know, they'll share with you what your options are in terms of, you know, adding that additional income and bringing that extra person in.
And some examples of that is siblings. Like 2 siblings I've had where 2 sisters live together. I've sold a house where the mother and daughter were going to be living together. So those are some examples of how you can do it. You know, family wanting to consolidate to be able to live. And so mother and daughter, 2 sisters, brother and sister, those type of situations, like they say, but at the end of the day, always, no matter what we say, always run it by your mortgage counselor.
And that's the part that's key to me. Everything that you guys are saying is accurate and true. But the one thing I noticed that you keep saying is the mortgage counselor, the mortgage counselor, the mortgage counselor. Make sure you talk to your mortgage counselor. You have to have a relationship with your mortgage counselor. Your mortgage counselor needs to understand what your home ownership goals are. It's the biggest purchase of your life. And what you don't want to do is leave this program or exit this program or have an opinion about the program by saying coulda, shoulda, woulda. We want you to leave in a satisfied property. This is the property that you're going to start with in some cases and end with. And, you know, this is the dream home. It may not be the final step with some of you. It may be a starter step, but we don't want any regrets. And our program is supposed to bring beautiful things to your path. So we want you to talk to your counselor, communicate. I was in Newark a couple of weeks ago for the event, and a few times I heard, some of the potential members say, "Well, I ain't gonna tell them this. I ain't gonna tell them that. I just want them to do this," but not holding, not giving that information. You got to treat your counselor almost like they're your attorney. They got to fight for you. They'll disclose what they need to disclose to the powers that be, but tell them, don't send them out there to battle for you blindfolded, because they're not going to fight the way you think they are if they don't have all the information. So then I heard some people say, well, my counselor should have done this and should have done this, and this. How did they know? Did you talk to them? So you got to have full disclosure. Just say, look, I'm going to share this with you. I may not want this to go everywhere else, but you tell me, here's what I'm dealing with. Here's my situation. Now, will this program work for me? Or can I do this? And your counselor is going to be forthright with you. I guarantee you. That's the key right there. I guarantee you. Can it? Moses, did I say anything incorrect? Jerome?
No, you didn't. You came correct.
So this is Moses, and I've been doing a lot of listening. Again, my name is Moses. Of course, Moses is here to lead you to the promised land.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, Moses.
My God, Moses. I love
lead you
that.
to the promised land. But I've been doing a lot of listening. Actually, I've been getting knocked out and on and off. But so one of the things that I would like to add here, based on most of all the things that I've listened to, is, and Jeanette, I just want to respond to one of the things you said. The reason why you hear the real estate folks talking to your counselor, because that is where it all begins. It all begins from that counseling stage. Right. See, people focuses exclusively on how can I get qualified, all right? You will need to bring everything down to the table and talk to your counselor. If you want a co-buyer, talk to your counselor, bring it to the table at the beginning. Whatever it is that you want to do, bring it to the table, because sometimes by the time you get into your real estate, by the time you get to your realtor or your real estate agents, you have already been qualified. And it becomes a challenge to either increase your qualification, as the case may be. So it is important that you bring everything down to the table and speak with your counselor. Ask as many questions as you possibly can. If you do have any questions regarding to the real estate piece, talk to your real estate agents. They'll be able to advise you. Some of us are actually counselors. We have done counseling before we get into real estate. So we can actually give you even a counseling advice if that becomes necessary. But again, once your counselor understands what your needs and your desires are, they will be able to get you qualified for what you're looking for. And that makes it easier for everybody, for yourself, for your real estate agent, and the entire process.
Absolutely. And thank you, Moses. And that is paramount. Jade Steely is asking, okay, great information. How do I start this process? And you can always start with a workshop. But Damien, Kenneth, you guys are in Georgia. You know what's coming in Georgia in 2 weeks. Next weekend, mind you, we will be in Conyers, Georgia. In Conyers, Georgia. That's for the weekend. We're going to be there for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Shamika, if you are in the Georgia area, if you live near Georgia, in a neighboring state, if you're in Alabama, if you're in any of the states, Florida, surrounding Georgia, and you're able to get to Conyers, you can start that process by attending that 3-day event. Friday, July 28th. Saturday, July 29th, and Sunday, July 30th from 8 to 8, we will be at Johnson Park. That's located at 1781 Ebenezer Road Southwest in Conyers, Georgia. It is posted on our website, www.naca.com. Don't see me there. You need to beat me there, because guess what? It is a one-stop shop. You can come and take that first step by going to the workshop. The next step, advancing to member portal so that you can upload and get all of your documents into the system. The next step, going to sit with a counselor so that you can get that one-on-one comprehensive counseling from a HUD certified counselor all the way to your underwriter where you're getting qualified. All of that can be done on the day 1, day 2, day 3. Again, you can get all of these steps done. And guess what? If that's what you need to do to start the process, but if you're already in the process and you've been waiting forever, I get people say, my counseling appointment is in 2 months, in 3 months. Well, guess what? Skip all of that, get to the event. You'll still have your date for your appointment, but guess what? If you get to that event, you won't need it. You can go and meet with a counselor face to face right there. Everything can happen at that event. So Damian, Kenneth, we're looking forward to seeing you in Georgia. Will you be there? Will I see you?
Absolutely, you will.
All
We'll be
right.
there with bells. Also, just the FYI to everyone, don't come on Sunday. Get there Friday. The reason you want to get there Friday as early as possible, because if you need to get any other documentation, you can get it and bring it back. If you come on Sunday and need other documentation, you're going to fall back into the normal process of the way NACA is done. So get there on Friday, get everything done, and then have a great weekend because you're out looking for your house. So definitely do that. And then if you come and you get hung up, ask for me. I don't mind helping. I'll be walking all around the place. So you can definitely ask and say, hey, Damian, can you help me? And also is if you can, if you already have a NAC ID, upload and get your information updated before you get there. That makes it for an easier process. And also bring some type of copy of your information. You can bring a laptop. Bring your laptop and have your information on there, because just if they don't have it, you already got it and can send it to them. Also, if you make less than $80,000, we are giving away 8-inch or 12-inch tablets that you can get for free, as well as up to 4 years of internet. So come on and get your internet, come on and get your tablet, come on and get your house, buddy. We will see you in the house, okay?
Right. And full disclosure, all you have to do is pay the activation of the tablet. It's just a $10 activation, but it's a one-time fee just to activate it. There are no monthly charges. So yes, Damian is right. It is free. But I want to, make sure they know that, because they'll say, you know what, Damian Smith said it was free, and y'all telling me I got to pay this $10. So you know what? It is an activation fee. It's such a minimum amount, and these tablets are super fast, high-speed internet with a case. There is nothing better than coming to an event, getting full access to everything you need to succeed, and then being connected to us after you leave by getting, one of those tablets. And all it takes is having certain qualifiers. Damian said under $80,000. If you are a recipient of any of the subsidiaries, such as WIC, food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, free if your children get free school lunch, if you're on a federal Pell Grant. Those are just a few of the qualifiers. There are more, but come to the event. You can get all of that information you need to succeed for sure. I gotta give Mo Better some love because she just got into the building. She's here. She's on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Mo Better is always there cheering us on. Thank you for the constant support, Mo Better. She says she's late because she had an appointment, and I hope that appointment went well. One of the things I want to make sure we talk about, people always ask, I've already had an orientation. Pamela Jackson is saying after doing the orientation, and she's meaning the workshop, after doing the workshop and getting your number, can you lose your number or have to do the orientation again? I'm assuming you're talking about getting your NACA ID. Once you have your NACA ID, that's your NACA ID for life. Once you're a NACA member, you're a NACA member for life. Okay, Kenneth, you're a NACA member for life. However, I will tell you this. If it's been a couple of years, if it's been 3 years or less, and you've had a NACA ID and you're coming back in, you don't have to take the workshop again. However, if it has been more than 3 years, more than 3 years, I'm saying it because they're going to say she's saying it for a reason. Yes, I am. If you have had the workshop 3 years or greater, yes, you're going to have to come back through the workshop again. You're going to have to do it again. Here's why. There's a lot of information that has changed. We're on a member portal now. We're on artificial intelligence. We have a state-of-the-art system that it is required for you to use it. We need to get you acclimated with that because that is your connection connection to us. That's how you communicate to us. That's how you give us your information to move you forward through the process. So we want to make sure you're acclimated with that and get all the updates you need. So 3 years, more than 3 years, yes, you have to take that workshop again. But guess what? We're going to be there 3 days for you to do so. And this is across the country anywhere. And if it's less than 3 years, you're good to go. You can come straight to the floor, see a counselor, and get what you need to succeed, getting one step closer to home ownership.
Awesome.
What do you think about that, Damien?
I am just, oh my goodness, I'm just elated. Now, also, they can also pre-sign up for the tablet. It's a website that they go to. Do you have that? Because I don't have it.
They don't have the QR code and things like that for the tablet at the event yet.
Okay.
But I know that they can come to the event and get all of that information right there. It's a quick process. It's really simple. It's really quick.
Awesome. Get that free tablet and get that house.
Absolutely. One of the things they wanted to talk about, and Jerome, I think this is for you. If they started the process in Rochester, New York, however, their intent is to get to New Jersey. They didn't say where in New Jersey. They just put the state of New Jersey. How does that pan out after they're qualified? You're muted.
On mute again. Here we go. Regardless of where you're qualified, you have your target area. So then you just need to get settled as long as your counselor, going back to the counselor, approves that you can go, whether it be out of state, because of the different employment and distance requirements, and your counselor had that conversation, but then you can make a move to another state. So, but double check, because I don't want to receive somebody ready to shop with Jerome in Jersey, and you're coming from New York, somewhere far in New York, and then we only go shopping only to find out that you can't because maybe it's too far a commute or whatever it may be. But it is very possible to go anywhere with that qualification. You just need to make sure that everything's approved by that counselor before you get started.
Absolutely. Good information. And Joyce is saying, help me in Atlanta. Joyce, I'd love to help you in Atlanta. What do you need help with? Let us know. We got Georgia in the house. She's saying, help me. So we just need to know what you need help with. And as always, if you guys are needing specific help and have unique circumstances that you don't want to talk about here on the show, we're all family. But if you don't want to talk about it, you can always reach out to us at services@naca.com. That's services@naca.com. And of course, our phone number is readily available for you. The radio show's number is 783-771-0500. That's 833-771-0500. Now let's talk about Move with Lady V. Move with Lady V is now the affordability thing in DMV, LOL. That's the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. We don't have our agents on here, but I'm sure it's similar to what Kenneth and Rome was talking about, Move with Me. So again, let's start talking about and looking for some grants here to help you afford it. I cannot press it upon you enough to look at those grants. Look at those grants. And if you need to know what grants that we have access to already, just reach out to your counselor. As most of them are saying, that relationship with your counselor and talking to your counselor is critical. Please. Let's talk about that. Joyce Benjamin is saying, I need help buying. Okay, she's in Georgia. What does she do? How does she get?
Come to the Achieve the Dream event. Upload all your paperwork, meet with a mortgage counselor, and get with a real estate agent, an in-house agent. Let them work in concert to help you, because the mortgage counselor may not understand what a market-ready individual looks like. They know you're approved for a mortgage, but are you market-ready? Market-ready simply means you can buy a home in the current market you want to live in. And if that's not the case, then we need to work in concert to help you get to that point. So it's not really just the mortgage counselor. It's the mortgage counselor collaborating with the real estate agent to get you what you need. That's my advice to you.
Thank you, Pastor.
Stop.
Spoken like a deacon slash pastor, if you ask me, Damien, but
Oh,
I ain't gonna
Lord.
go there. That's a different show, folks. Stay tuned. Coming soon.
Pastor Clark.
That's a whole different one. Deacon Pastor, good Reverend Dr. Clark. Okay. So, and then, she did say thank you, and we appreciate the feedback. We appreciate all of the questions. Let's talk about one other thing about the multifamily unit, because we're getting that on the phone lines, we're getting that in our chat and things like that. Multifamily unit. One of the people on the phone line, and this is a 706 phone line, is asking, if you cannot get it, if I cannot meet my affordability on a single family home, would it be best to go to a multi-unit to expand my affordability? I don't think that would be a good idea, but you guys are the experts on the market out there. I think they're looking for additional. If I had to dissect this phone message, looks like they're trying to use multi-unit as a way to create income,
or just increases your affordability. It's actually another way of actually kind of getting a co-buyer, because that other unit is your co-buyer. You're getting now 75% of that other unit. So it's just another way to increase your affordability. The only thing I caution people when they go from single family to multi is the space. When you are getting a multi, so it is tighter quarters. So that's a compromise you're going to have to make. And if you're okay with that, especially if you have 2 and 3 children, then you got to get like a 3-bedroom unit. I always advise everyone too, not to get 1-bedroom units. They don't really have that much value when that's the unit that you're not occupying to help you. If you could just get a 2 or 3 unit building that has a 1-bedroom unit, it really doesn't going to get you as much money as you need to help you get into a better neighborhood. So if you want to get into a better neighborhood, you got to be able to afford those higher mortgages on those multifamily properties. So get bigger bedrooms. 2 and 3 bedroom homes give you much more rent. You take 75% of that and add it to your monthly payment, and it helps. But you just can't go into those high tax areas. So, I mean, I have this conversation maybe daily, but it's something that everybody out there has to know, like Ken was saying, in concert with your counselor and your agent. But what happens is, it's not just that one conversation. We have one good conversation where we lay down the boundaries of the pricing, but it's the follow-up, because we hang up the phone and then you might be on Redfin, Zillow, whatever website, and you're still looking for those other houses. Or it's just, if you follow up and make sure that everybody is still on that track, it's more beneficial to you. So I feel like if we have just one good conversation, but we as agents, guys, stay on you to make sure you're not drifting away at the same time. So
also, internet, I would add reserves. And reserves are different from minimum required funds. Your minimum required funds is what you have to pay your prepaid taxes, insurance, your inspections, and all that. That's separate. Reserves are a little bit different for multifamily. In a multifamily, for a duplex, you have to have 4 times, 5 times for triplex, and 6 times. And what I mean is, if they qualify you, say, for $2,000 monthly payment, then your reserves for a duplex would be 3 times, 2 times that amount, 3 times that amount for a triplex, and 4 times that amount for duplex. For quadruplex. So having a lot more cash in savings will be what the requirement is. Yes, it's going to help you. A multifamily is going to help you get more affordability, but you also need to show more savings. And what that reserves does is say that in the event you don't have a tenant or you're missing some tenants, you have the money to show NACA. You don't have to use it, but it's showing them that you could now take care of the mortgage in the event that you got to, fix on it or something's going wrong and you can't rent it. So just be mindful that there is a little bit more money needed. But if you got the money, but not necessarily the qualification, but that 75% that Jerome mentioned can now put you up to get that, then you're good to go. But make sure you talk to them about what reserves you're going to need, your mortgage counselor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All good information. And one last question, because I can't believe how fast the time goes away, but I don't want to end this show without addressing Pamela Jackson's final question. She's saying, what is the next step after the workshop and getting your ID? I think she's stuck there. She said, that is where my hang up comes in. So Pamela Jackson, after you go to the workshop, you obtain your NACA ID. Your next step is to start feeding us with information. Think about it this way. I'm ready, y'all. Now y'all need to get to know me. How do we get to know you? You start giving us all the information using what we call a member portal. And in the workshop, at the end of the workshop, they talk to you about how to access the member portal. So just think back to that workshop. You understand how to access the member portal, and then utilize the member portal to start uploading your necessary documents, answering all of the questions. It's really simple. It's not a cookie cutter. It is literally where it's a custom fit. The questions it asks me is going to be the different questions it asks Kenneth or Jerome. And the questions it asks Moses, it won't be the same questions it asks me. It's based on the information you put in there. It's going to now spit out information that you have to do and upload. If you need help, again, Pamela Jackson, your resource is going to be services@naca.com. That services@naca.com is going to be your go-to resource, or you can always call us at 425-602-6222. Okay, Damien, can't believe it.
Here we go.
Here we go again. Old clock on the wall say it's time for us to go. But guess what? Don't stop asking questions here on social media. Keep those questions coming. All of your questions that you've asked right now will be answered. All of your questions will be answered, and they're going to be answered by our guru behind the scenes, Miss Donna Huey, always making things happen, always asking questions, and she's quick to answer those questions on our Facebook page, as well as services@naca.com. So keep asking those questions, because she's sitting there ready to give you all the information you need to succeed. Moses, Jerome, Kenneth, thank you guys so much. There's so many things you could be doing right now, but we appreciate you for sharing the wealth and the knowledge.
Thank you very much.
As always, guys, stay tuned. Keep it locked and loaded at www.naca.com. And as always, keep us in your prayers with our Facebook, Instagram, social media platforms. We're here for you. We're going to be there for you. So like us, love us, do whatever you want to do with us. And I'll see you in Conyers, Georgia, July 28th through the 30th. Stay tuned. Keep it posted. Next show coming soon. Make it a great day, everybody.
Have a good one.
Thank
Be
you very
safe.
much.